Okay. Hello and welcome to episode 141 of the Naked Tech Podcast. It's the show that gives you everything you need to know about consumer tech, the internet, and all things isolation. I'm your friend Jeff Kim.
My name is Kelvin Lee, and I think Apple has done it.
What have they done? They've finally done it.
I think, yeah, well, yeah,
They've
I
done
think
it.
we're gonna talk about it in depth in episode 141. We're gonna talk about the new Apple SE 2, Gen 2. What's the official name for it?
The official one is SE, just
Really?
SE. Yes. Not iPhone 9. Not, what were the other rumors?
2020? Like,
I, SE, yeah. The iPhone SE? I don't know. iPhone the SE. Let's call it the SE. What does the SE stand for?
small enough.
Special
I just,
enough? I think it's special
I think
edition, no?
only a company like Apple would, not tell you what it stood
Mm.
for. They're so coy about it.
Oh. But I feel like, I mean, if it was one letter, like the R, that makes sense. But if it's two letters, surely it's got to be something. I think the first SE, I know you said small enough, but a lot of people are complaining that it's actually too big.
Haters gotta
If they
hate,
had
man.
the iPhone 5 and because the original SE, when was that? About
Hmm.
3 years ago, 2 years ago? That was the size of the 5 and the 5S, which is a well-loved shape. We may see a return in the iPhone 12 later in the year, hopefully, if that ever happens. Um, but I don't know. It's been fairly well received from what I understand.
So today we're going to cover the iPhone SE. We're going to talk about technology related to the coronavirus, and if we have time, we'll squeeze in some working from home tips because there's a lot of news about Zoom, how insecure it is, and a whole bunch of other things that we would recommend. So we'll kick off with the
Hmm.
iPhone SE. So this came out on the 16th, which is today's the 19th. It's a Sunday. They came out 3 days ago. Um, and the biggest shocker here is the price, I would think. It's 399
Mm.
USD. So you can see here on our Twitch stream, it's 749 AUD, including GST. Comes in three colors: black, white, and product red. And I believe that they're giving a percentage of the product red proceedings to charities that would work with COVID-19 related issues.
Mm.
Um, what do you think? What do you like about it?
Well, let's talk about the colors
Yes.
because that's very Marquez.
Yes.
It's like totally like it's almost like this was the series of phones here. It's on the screen
Mm.
and on Twitch. It's like 100% Marquez,
I
is it
mean,
not?
he is there. I don't think he's very critical of Apple. I don't think he loves everything, but he is the number one
Mm.
tech YouTuber, um, and getting his endorsement and getting him to love it will mean a lot. I mean, he can reach what 2.5 million people now,
Mm.
so it's worth a shot, literally.
Yeah. And I think, the sentiments wise, yes, it's not a sexy new design or anything. It's sort of gone back in terms of the design, but that's what a SC phone is, I suppose. It's for, well, especially in this past week, they're basically saying, hey, we're gonna almost dominate this part of the market, the US $400 market, where OnePlus phones have traditionally tried to be in there.
No,
No?
I agree.
Shaking your
I'm
head
just
there?
disappointed that the OnePlus 8 came out I think a week and a half before this, and it was going for 800 US dollars,
Mm,
something like that, and they're not going
mm,
to sell any phones. If you're looking for a phone, there are other Android options, and
mm.
if you were thinking of moving from iOS to Android and looking for a cheaper option, that option is now going to be covered by the iPhone SE. Um,
I think that the biggest the win here for Apple is perhaps the the people that have been considering going to Android from iOS. So they've had, like, say, they've probably been on the iPhone 8 or 7 or even was there a 6? I can't
yeah,
even
the
remember now.
6S.
They've been on that sort of generation of phones, and you can get, well, it's the same bodies, so it's, well, like, these are the people that don't really care
Mm.
about all the bezels, the forehead and the chin or the Touch ID. Actually, they love the Touch ID, don't they? So, nothing new there. They just want a faster phone that and the battery lasts for a whole day. That's what they want, and they're
So I
gonna
love it how you
totally get
mentioned the
this.
7 and the 8 and the 11. So this is a bit of a Frankenstein phone, right? It's got the body of the 8, the processor of the 11, and the
Well,
7.
seven as well.
Yeah.
No, six actually.
I think the 7 and the 8, and the
Yeah.
camera of the 10R.
Yes, because it's a
That's right.
single lens, but also has
And
the
but
bokeh.
no, so no Face ID because I'm guessing that costs a fair bit. Um, and like you said, I don't think people mind. I personally, I thought the button was, it was fast. It's faster than my silly in-screen fingerprint reader with my Samsung Galaxy S10 Plus, which annoys me to hell. Um, and besides, in terms of a single lens camera, it's not gonna take bad photos. I'm gonna
Mm,
say it's gonna be up there with
yeah.
the latest Pixel or the Pixel 3a even. And I think this is gonna be a hit. There's no other phone you should buy for this price, really.
Mm, yeah. So it's not for your enthusiasts out there. It's not for the MKBHD watchers, audiences, even
Mm-hmm.
Unbox Therapy, Calvin.
Yeah, and I think
Yep.
I'm gonna jump to a little clip by Unbox Therapy, who is a YouTuber, just to talk a bit about why this is so important. But for me, if someone needs a phone right now, if it isn't working, I'm gonna go straight to the iPhone SE 2 now. If you don't really care about the latest phones, you don't care about the latest buzzwords,
Mm.
and that used to be an Android phone, so I think that's a huge shift. But let's play that clip and just hear from Unbox in terms of why this is important.
Price is number one. The camera, and I'll include the processor in there as well. The power, the computing power that's in there as well, the modernization of that component. But mostly the camera. All right, we have price, camera, and size. And that's kind of how this SE shakes out. I keep referencing the iPhone 8 as the SE because, for all intents and purposes, that's exactly what we're dealing with. Now, the downsides, they're fairly obvious. You have an antiquated look, and I'm going to keep grabbing for the 7 because I might as well, because the look is essentially the same minus the glass back.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Hey,
love
he
the
got really
piano music
emotional during
there.
this video because I think he's always been a strong sort of supporter for value, and he doesn't just look at the specs of a phone. And I think he's blown away by this, and so am I. Like I'm reading through the press release on the newsroom, and I just want to bring up the 4K. You can shoot 4K video on this thing, and it costs 749. You get iOS 13. You get all the editing. You
Mm,
get everything you need. Like everything else that the 11 and the Pro and provides you is just nice to haves. Um, it's not anything that would
mm.
take away your day-to-day experience.
So what piece of the pie is this? Is this would you say lower end or is it sort of mid-range? Sort of like
Yeah, I'm
low
gonna
to
say
mid, isn't
mid-range. I'm
it?
not even gonna put it up with the low, right? I mean,
Mid-range?
let's look at the store and see what else you can
Yeah.
buy at the moment. Um,
Well, I think for Apple
yeah,
it's low, but I think out of the whole market at that price, I mean it's mostly about the price, right? So if we're talking about ranges that people are going to get, Marquez, I know he had a video about the argument that this is the best phone or small phone. It's not even that small because people wanted the smaller phones, but 4.7 inch screen wise it's small, but the body wise it's still quite big. And I know at least two or three people that have sent me text messages saying why didn't they just make a smaller phone? They would have totally got
ooh,
it.
if 4.7 isn't big in today's standard, right? It's still really small. 4.7, like now that.
Yeah, but the because of the bezels, it's I think well
Mm,
the forehead and the chin, the body size is still quite
yeah. Oh
huge.
well, there is no such thing as a perfect
Yeah.
phone, right? And personally, I could never go back to a small phone, which is why I think this is a great buy for anybody. They're still, surprisingly, they're still selling the iPhone 10R for $1,000 AUD, which
Wow.
is ridiculous. I'm not quite sure why you would ever choose that over that.
It's
No,
no
it's
contest, right?
no,
No
it's not.
contest right now. Yeah.
I'm just trying to see what like the price
Mm,
difference between the SE and the 11 is $400 AUD. And in
mm,
this current situation where most people are unemployed, or you're too worried about you want to save some money, you wouldn't get the 11, I would think. You're not getting too much on top of that.
Yeah. Yep. Some other negatives. I've only caught a couple of things on the YouTube world. Who's your
Dave
brother
Lee.
from another mother? Dave Lee. He was glowing about this phone. He absolutely loved it. He had one negative though, which I didn't get to clip, but apparently there's no night mode.
You see, before night mode, we were all fine. Like I felt that the cameras in the iPhone and the processing, the post processing was good enough, right?
Mm.
How often do you get night mode triggered on your 11?
Well, I mean it's
Yeah.
permanently mode, but because it's a
Mm.
operating system level thing, even websites, some websites default to night mode. It was one of my predictions from last year or earlier this year, I should
Oh, you mean
say.
night mode as in like
Oh, what?
the blue filter on the screen, or are you talking about night mode as in the camera night mode?
Oh, wait, maybe he meant that. Maybe he meant the camera.
No,
But
I
isn't
think
that
it's
called
called night
something
mode.
else?
I
I
think
thought
it's
it
night mode.
meant
The
night mode.
camera mode is called night mode.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I made that mistake then. I only quickly watched it earlier tonight.
Because we went out
Yeah.
for a walk today, and my wife May was trying to take photos of the kids running around in low light, and night mode wouldn't trigger, which I'm guessing it wasn't dark enough. So I think the camera system in the iPhones would only ever use night mode in very, 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 very dark situations, which I was quite
Mm,
surprised by. They must have confidence in their computational power.
yeah. Yeah, but actually, just come to think of it, I went for a bit of a bushwalk today. Not sure if I was allowed to do that or not, but anyway, there were lots of people around in my local national park. I
In
have
your
a
backyard.
national park
Just
in
jump
Lane
out the
Cove.
balcony right behind you.
It's pretty much my backyard. And I took a few photos because like the scenery was actually amazing. It's like, hang on, this is only like 10 minutes
Mm.
drive away from my place. How come I didn't know about this? So it runs along Lane Cove River, which is quite beautiful. And I noticed the photos had a different
Mm.
light. Like the greens were more
Saturated?
perky green. No, but not too,
Yeah.
Samsung style oversaturated, but just, really nice. And I'm pretty sure that was a software upgrade at some point in the last,
Mm.
couple of months because I didn't get those greens before. I mean, I had the phone
Yep.
since October.
Do you prefer it? Do you
Yeah.
like it?
So, I mean, it was, I'll probably reserve that judgment for like once I see
Mm.
it on a bigger screen and maybe once it sort of gets triggered into Google Photos and all that. But yeah, I mean, on the screen, it looked quite
Yeah.
striking. Anyway, I could clearly see the difference. But I mean, we've talked about this before. That's the way it is these days. Computational photography. What is real these days? We have no idea, especially
Mm.
during COVID. We don't know what's real. We're probably in an alternate universe.